It's AM 650, KJB Radio. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Back at it we go, the second half hour. And your Wyoming Senator Anthony Bouchard sitting in the studio with me. And this time around, we got through all the gun legislation thing. Well, there's a lot more to say on it, I know. But let's talk for just a moment. Taxes. It didn't surprise me, Anthony, so much when I was watching, they always have that press conference with the leadership of the House and leadership of the Republicans, leadership of the Democrats. And to watch a Democrat from Laramie stand up and say, we shouldn't be afraid about talking about Wyoming state income tax. We shouldn't be afraid of that. And I'm thinking, I'm not afraid. Listen carefully. No. Just no, we don't want to do it. But I'm really am surprised by, as we talk about different kinds of taxes, there's even some Republicans in there, apparently, who are in favor of, like a corporate tax? So, again, what's going on there?
We've seen the corporate tax being pushed. We've seen the property taxes being pushed. I don't know. I just think that it seems like we don't want to open the books and look at where money is being spent and maybe decide maybe we shouldn't spend all this money. And instead, we're going to look at all the taxpayers as revenue generators and figure out where we're going to pull more money out of their pocket. And the people don't need to worry about the Democrats. They're in the minority.
Okay. They
need to be worrying about Republicans that are going to push these ideas.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the ideas that have been pushed. One of them is, again, like a corporate tax. How does that work? Is it like a corporate income tax for the state of Wyoming?
The ideas that I've seen pushed, they're grasping at any way they can just to get the camel's nose under the tent. And they'll probably go, oh, well, this isn't that bad a tax. Come on. Yeah. Come on, everybody can support this, right?
Other states are doing it.
People need to be worried. I heard that ad playing right before we came on. That was the American Conservative Union. And, I got 100% rating last year on votes.
Right.
And I think people need to start really paying attention to how people are voting because, I believe in the limited government principles. I believe in lower taxes, lower spending. We need to really start thinking about that. If Republicans are running on these principles, we better hold them to it during the time they're voting for these things.
I get a lot of calls on people worried that their property taxes are going to go up.
I do have a bill that it's going through the approval process. So when you draft the bill, you've got to wait for it to go through in a process, and it's part of the bottleneck that's in the whole system.
Right.
But I think we may have to do something similar to Proposition 8 in California that saved them from having taxes raised on their property. So we may, and I think there may be a possibility that on some local taxes we'll lose it here because people here seem to vote for taxes in Laramie County. But in the whole, as a state overall, what if the state legislature says let's raise property taxes at the state level?
Right. Yeah.
I'd rather have that to a vote of the people because it'll stop it.
This is where, and I mentioned to you just a moment ago when we first were coming on here, I come up with the idea of if we have a rainy day fund, why not set up something similar and we can just go ahead and use some of the interest money for that to cover some of what they want to spend on. At least then you got different kinds of revenue coming in during the bust times, which will happen. And at least it's more steady and you didn't raise anyone's taxes. It's just an investment strategy.
Well, they are kind of doing that now.
Yeah.
I think what I am more worried about, look what they're doing now. You see this whole movement right now between the bankers and the powers that be. They want the economy to go down so Trump owns it.
Right.
And the economy's been good as when he took over, but I'm concerned that we're in a bubble now.
Right.
And the powers that be want to pop that bubble. What do you think will happen to our investments in our state if we go down again?
Okay.
So I'm a little concerned that when we take those investments out of safe investments like bonds,
right,
and go into a bigger stock market, what happens when a crash happens? So there are some other bills that the conservatives are pushing. I signed on to one about basically doing honest money. But we should have some of that money sitting in these investments in gold.
Right.
So if let me not say if, but when that crash comes, we've got some stability there in that state, in the state government coffers.
Okay.
So I just think we do need to think outside the box.
Yeah, no, definitely we do, because look, even I said in the beginning when I first started looking at Wyoming financing, the way the state does, the way the state brings in money is we have too many eggs in one basket. They're not all in one basket, but too much of it's in one basket, and that basket tends to go boom, bust, boom, bust. So it's a good idea to diversify how our money comes in, so when the next bust happens, okay. But then that brings up the conversation, okay, so you're going to tax what instead? And even I don't want to go there, because that means, we got to look at, you're looking at income, you're looking at property, you're looking at a sales tax. There's even, one of the stories I read today, and I'm not too opposed to this being from Florida, though, but there's basically a tourism tax. That's why Florida doesn't have a state income tax, is because they tax tourism so heavily. But it's a tourist state anyway.
The problem with doing tourist taxes is, look at all of us. We travel all around this state, and we're going to end up taxing ourselves on that.
Okay.
I mean,
so what would you do then? Just spend less? How would you?
I think we really need to look. If we don't have open books, if we don't know, I mean, look, when you got an auditor, and we've been through that on this on your show, the auditor didn't want to open the books, and when we're not doing that, then how do we know what our government is spending money on? Right. Yeah. I mean, come on, I'm in the legislature, and it sometimes I have to. It's like pulling teeth to get the data.
Yeah, what are you spending it on? So even a state senator has trouble finding that info or getting that information out.
Look, I could go into a lot of. There's a lot of detail to it, but I've asked for data from LCCC that they didn't want to get to me, and they held on to it, and they hem-hawed around, and then I finally get it after session's over. Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't think that's an accident.
No, I don't think it is either. Okay, if you have any questions for Anthony Bouchard, 632-6500 is the phone number. That's 632-6500. We can talk about this or what we were talking about last hour. It's AM 650 KGAB Radio.
Got a car problem? Join the conversation with Nick the Motor Guy on Car Gab, Saturday mornings at 11 on AM 650 KGAB and KGAB.com.
B&B Appliance and TV has been your locally owned appliance store for 49 years. Not only do we offer several major brands, we also service what we sell. And we have the largest parts department in Laramie County. Next time you're in a big box store, just ask to see their parts and service department. Then come visit the appliance experts at B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
A lifetime of love, you lived a lifetime of love.
When the time comes to say goodbye, it's a chance to remember their gifts to us.
Dad used to love his walks along here.
His love will be with us every step of the way.
Life moves on. But love lasts more than a lifetime.
A lifetime of love.
Memories of a Lifetime of Love. Schrader, Aragon, and Jacoby Funeral Home.
Peak Properties. Let our family show you the way home.
Hi, this is Lindy Wiltshire with Peak Properties. Whether you're the Cheyenne area or looking to move across town, I would love to help you with all your real estate needs. Call or text me at 307-631-4620 or visit sellcheyenne.com today.
Peak Properties, let our family show you the way home. Peak Properties.
The KGAB Wyoming Wake Up with Glenn Woods on AM 650.
So phone number 632-6500 outside Wyoming, 888-503-6500. What did you show me just before the break? Is that property tax bill?
Yeah, this was a bill that was on the floor yesterday. I thought we had it dead. The tagline is personal property tax reporting, Senate File 6. And, you know, that there's this movement to say, oh, this isn't that bad. You know, it's only going to tax you a little bit. And the main problem that I'm against the bill is, one, it's how they tax personal property. They decide, like, let's say you buy a new tractor or something that's on your property. Even in the business setting, they can come in and tax everything you have in the business. And I've been there. I've been there and done that. I mean, I've lived in other states. I said it on the floor. State to the west of us. This is what they know how to do. This. They come into your business. I fought with them over a microwave that I paid $5 for in an auction, and they were going to tax me a full amount of what that microwave is. And then that made me look at their whole assessment. I went, wow, you guys are crazy. This is what they do. They come and look at a business owner as if somehow a business is rolling in the dough.
Yeah.
But it's a real struggle to be in business.
Well, okay, let's say you've been a business owner. You understand this. So let's say a business on paper makes $1 million a year. On paper, he's made $1 million. He's obviously a millionaire. But when you take a look at the cost of running that business and what you have to pay out, how much of that $1 million do you actually get to take home and use to feed your kids?
Well, think about it. If they're netting 7%, which would be good.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that would be absolutely outstanding. So I don't think a lot of people understand this. Now, also as a business owner, if they wanted to do what is in that bill, does this mean that business owners in Wyoming would have to spend time just sitting there going through every little item, basically taking stock and writing down what they think the worth is? And
well, look, I didn't go back and look at all the history on where this statute is, but I will tell you that something really pops up very obvious. So under this bill, if I go to the page 2, there's a part that says enforcement.
Right.
And the original language that was already on the book says there are no specific applicable provisions for enforcement for this chapter. So I can just imagine what happened when they passed this originally. They said, look, it's no enforcement. There's no problem, man. We're not going to come after everybody. This is just for a few bad apples. Well, now we've stricken that in this new language. And then it goes on to say audits. In the course of any audit of a taxpayer under this title, the Department of Audit shall obtain a complete and detailed statement of the taxable personal property owned by or subject to the control of the taxpayer as provided under this section. So anyway, my first thought is we're going to audit everybody that they choose. But we can't get an audit of the government.
No, we can't. And those are the first people who should be. Grab your headphones. We'll start the phone calls here. 632-6500 is the phone number. This is Glenn, who's on the phone with us.
Yeah, Glenn Joe. Mr. Shard, the city council here several years ago, led by Comrade Spiker, passed an ordinance that no smoking. I mean, that's the law. Can they do that? Can they assert private property rights without going through the legislature?
Well, that's a good question, and it comes back to that local control thing. The difference between what we were doing on a gun bill, there is a state preemption in place where the state says they hold the authority and the local government doesn't. On cigarettes, there isn't a preemption in law. I think what should really be understood, though, and look, I'm not a smoker. I'm an asthmatic, and I hate cigarette smoke. But what I'm going to tell you is I love freedom. And I think that if a business owner wants to allow smoking in their business, that's their business. And if the smokers want to go there, that's their business. I would probably not go there because it would probably make me choke and hack. But freedom is very important. And if we don't defend freedom at the local level, and we keep putting people in office that think local control is the buzzword of the day, it's still the word control. They're still going to control your lives, your liberty, your taxes, your freedom.
Okay, thanks for the call. Anyone else? 632-6500 is the phone number. Let's talk real quick. What should be under, and we'll put this in air quotes here, local control, and what should not be? I think Michelle from up in Casper had a good idea. Sure, if you want to go ahead and talk about things like stop signs and the way those roads are formed and things like that, absolutely. But what else should be under local control and what should be just statewide blanket?
Well, look, what's kind of happened on local control is, and I see the same thing in the legislature, people don't show up to these meetings. When the city council has a meeting, when
nobody's there.
Yeah, county commissioners have a meeting, when the legislature has a meeting. And so what happens, it just starts creeping.
Yeah.
And so I don't look, we know we have city governments to say, what time are we going to pick up the trash and decide who's going to be the vendor for the trash. And there's a lot of things that happen in a municipality, but it just seems that we got this creep going on that they want to control everything.
Yeah. Well, and I know a lot of people in city council and county commissioners, they have just flat out to my face disagreed with me on this, but you guys in the House and Senate are only allowed to meet once a year. I look at city councils and county commissions and I think, well, same thing, because the more we let them meet, then the more they like this they do. They look for things to do at the next meeting, and they'll always find something.
I agree. I mean, people in this state need to be thankful that there's a 20-day session and a 40-day session on a general session. But I will tell you, there are other things going on that people need to watch. I mean, when we have interim committees and task forces and extra committees that are voted on, I mean, there's a good chance I'm not on any of those because so the machine is made. It's a big grinder, and it's made to push an agenda.
Slowly push it through. Next caller up. This is Glenn. Who's on the phone?
Craig?
Yes, sir. What you got?
Oh, I got a question. Well, they don't quite understand my explain, but in the severance tax, why do we tax based on the price? Let's say the price of a barrel of oil. And so if the price goes up or down, we swimmers think. Why don't we base it on the barrelage? Every barrel comes out, that's tax. Every BTU or natural gas, coal, what have you, and price means nothing. And I don't quite understand why it's all based on the price. I thought maybe you could explain that to the audience.
I mean, now I think you're talking about as far as how the state of Wyoming taxes that barrel of oil.
Yeah.
Okay.
We tax it based on the price of the commodity.
Yeah, it's a barrel, therefore a barrel is always this much.
Yeah, well, I think the real worry there is, I mean, that's a volatile market. So if you base something on the final price, I mean, what happens when it all goes down? So I mean, so there's something to be said by having a stable severance tax. I mean, look, this is the people's minerals, whatever they take out of the ground. So I think that we just need to be careful we don't turn it into a volatile tax base by doing that.
This is Glenn. Who's on the phone?
Hi, this is James.
Yes, sir. What you got?
The state government has destroyed my business through favoritism. You're trying to get a bill in. What's your first step? Do you have to find a legislature who's sympathetic, or what?
Yeah, that would be the first step. Is find. I mean, look, I spent most of my life doing that on the outside. So you find someone who basically is sympathetic to your cause, and you actually get them to. I mean, look, as a legislator, I've got access to lawyers on the inside that can look at where that statute has to be placed, and it's usually best that if you get your representative, but that doesn't mean you can't reach out to somebody like me if I'm not your senator.
Okay, you can certainly look him up.
Yeah, and by the way, I would if I really am interested in how government is the problem in Wyoming, because what they do is they are, instead of having free markets, we have the government at the center of all these transactions, and that stifles the free market. Right. So I am very interested in hearing how the government might have stifled your business, and I'm willing to help.
Look up Anthony Bouchard. We'll finish up with him in just a moment. More calls coming in. Hang on, guys. We'll get there. AM 650 KGAB.
Hi, it's Glenn Beck from KGAB, where you can hear Glenn Woods every weekday morning from 6 to 10. Then me, afternoons 4 to 7 on KGAB AM 650.
Ladies, give yourselves the ultimate Valentine's gift, heart health. Join us on February 2nd at Laramie County Community College from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for our annual Wake Up to Women's Heart Health event. We have some amazing speakers. You'll hear from a heart attack survivor and learn hands-only CPR. This event sold out last year, so get your tickets before they're gone. Register at cheyenneregional.org/wakeup or call 307-432-2677. Cheyenne Regional Medical Center. We inspire great health.
I'm Greg Vaughn, a local CPA from MHP here in Cheyenne, bringing you today's tax tip. If you are currently or have taken any higher education courses, you may be eligible for benefits through the American Opportunity Tax Credit for college expenses. You can get a credit up to $2,500 for tuition, fees, books, and supplies for you, your spouse, or your dependents. Ask your tax professional if you qualify. Visit MHP's website at mhpllp.com for resources on taxes, trust, small business consulting services, and more. MHP, now serving both Cheyenne and Fort Collins.
Hey, it's Dave Ramsey. Tune in to Glenn Woods weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. on 650 KGAB.
8:54 is the time. This is Glenn, who's on the phone with us.
Hey, it's Charlie. How you doing?
Good, sir. What you got?
Well, you're bringing up a real sore subject because I personally believe that the property tax on people's residential, or not residential, but private property, or homes, which are not revenue-producing property, are not included in the taxation. If you would take the time to read the Title 39, it's very boring, I understand, but it says right there, and I've mentioned this before, 39-11105 B11, I believe it is, this is property not subject to taxation. Personal property held for personal or family use, excluding mobile homes, which are required to be titled under a different statute. Why are they talking about a mobile home if they're not talking about your home? Our properties, our homes where we live, are not revenue-producing property. Title 39, if you take the time to look at it, it has to do with businesses, places that are making money day in and day out. Our homes cost us money. It's our refuge, okay? And even when they talk about residential property, residential is like apartment buildings, things that are owned or, collecting rents, and it's a business. It's all a business. I mean, to me, it's a huge scam. And even if you go back and look over here, it says that, I just lost the page. It says, when the county, it says, at the time of making annual assessments for state purposes, direct the boards of the county commissioners of the several counties to levy upon all taxable property a tax sufficient to pay the interest in all state bonds for that year. So basically what they do is they get together and say, squeeze the people for this amount of money. It has nothing to do with what your real value of your property is at the time.
I'll let Anthony answer that.
Well, that's exactly why Senate File 6 is scary to me, because exactly what you said, squeeze the people wherever you can. I mean, those are your words. And that's, I think, what Senate File 6 does. It gives them more authority to squeeze people.
All right, let me jump in real quick. One more, and I'm going to see if I can get this guy in. This is Glenn, who's on the phone. Yes, go ahead.
Who controls the audit over the books for the state? Why can't we see what they're paying out?
Okay, real quick answer that, because we got to go.
Well, there's a couple of different things going. You got a State Department of Audit that does things through the executive branch, and then you've got the state auditor, which is really a comptroller. She controls the checkbook. That book should be open to the people. We're one of 3 states that doesn't open the books.
Okay, and working on that. That was a really good lunch we had the other day. I appreciated that with Foster Freeze. All right, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you taking the time out for us. It's AM 650, KGAB Radio, or KGAB.com. So I got Fox News coming your way, local news, and an update on your weather forecast. But first, of course, Sean Hannity's morning update is coming your way, like seconds away from now. We got partly cloudy skies out there. I'll go ahead and give it that. We've all the way up to 34 degrees. It is open phones in the last hour of the program, so anything goes. Radio Mayhem, AM 650, KGAB Radio, KGAB.com, where Sean Hannity's Morning Minute comes your way right now.